Oh yeah,
Okay,
don't
we have to
curse.
be good. No cursing.
We're only looking at you. Don't look at. I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
You're not doing it.
And no, no bad language because this airs in the radio and I don't want to have to edit it.
We will keep it to a minimum or 0.
No swear words.
No swear words. Our kids
Yes.
are listening.
Keep it
Will
to
you
0.
Pretend
chair
your
like
kids are
this way a
sitting in
little?
the
Want me to
room
look
here,
that way?
little kids.
Scoot your chair that
Oh,
way.
excuse me.
I don't
Okay.
censor
I need to
my-
get
I don't
closer.
censor myself.
All right.
That's
Getting
a lot
closer.
better. Yeah.
That's better.
Am I closer?
better.
There you
Yeah.
go. How do I look though?
Fantastic.
Yes.
We'll take a bunch of pictures of it.
All right. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, we're good, Jimmy.
Facebook's-
Facebook
Okay.
Live. I don't think I've ever been live on Facebook.
Okay.
I don't
That's
think
good.
so either. I'm kind of
No.
excited.
Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Welcome to the 101, brought to you by Whiteside Chrysler Dodge Jeep. I'm Michael Morris, and this show is bringing on the best of the best entrepreneurs in Columbus, and it is the only entrepreneur show in Columbus. So, that being said, we want to bring on some real entrepreneurs here, and just a wild card. We have Chris in here. We're going to get to Chris in a minute because this is a handful. But Brittney Burnworth, you're here. How are
Hello,
you?
I'm great. How
Hey,
are you?
I'm good, and you are with who?
I am with Chris Whirl.
No, well, I mean your company. We're already off to a fast start.
I mean, we're physically present
Yes.
together.
We're
though.
physically
That is true.
present
She didn't
together.
answer the question I asked.
asked
Just
it?
not the one I intended.
Right.
Your
It was
company.
intent.
I am the owner of BB Aesthetic.
Yes, and that is. Can you tell people where you're located?
I am located at 4605 Morse Road in Gahanna, Ohio.
And then Chris, I wrote this down as the way I could pronounce it, not the way you said it.
Okay, yeah. Let's do
So
it.
if I'm wrong, you can correct me. I wrote Chris Galaxy World. Fix that for me because
It's Galaxy, but
Yeah.
I prefer Galaxy, and so
Yeah.
this like Siri autocorrect does it.
I was not even going to bother to try to get that right. I knew that you would just correct me. Now, Chris is here because she is, as she said, the hype man for this business because you are there constantly.
I am. I'm there when I'm getting like services on like, I get Botox every 3 months and other stuff whenever I need it. But I'm also just like stop by just to see them because
She loves
I
it.
really love them. They're
She
just
connects with all of our people.
I
I
just-
mean, people in the waiting room are like, Chris, hi. She
like-
makes friends.
Brittney calls me the norm of BB aesthetic for years.
Well, when you came in, there were 3 people. I was expecting 2, and I thought you were like a prize winner in the green room. So I'm glad you're on the show.
A prize winner, yeah.
We
I
have
did
noth-
win a prize.
We have nothing
I
to
have
give away.
friendship.
Just nope, don't even need that. If it's a Roosters gift card, I'm interested. Your friendship, no. I want to get
Keep
to
my heart.
Brittney. I want to start with. You kind of told me. I looked on your website. You kind of told me how well you're recognized across the country. But you also mentioned to me before the mics went on that you started this business, and it was you came to your husband and said, "Hey, I'm going to start this aesthetics business," and you were already very successful before you did it.
That is correct.
So, kind of give people a background on who you were before you had this company.
So my first previous life, I was in pharmaceuticals and biotech. So I spent about a decade, and I learned a lot of different things and takeaways from that position, as far as medicine, pharmaceuticals, leadership skills. I liked what I did, but I just believed that I had something better to give to the community. So I had 2 previous degrees prior to that. So I went back and got my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and then I went on to get my nurse practitioner. And I always had a vision that I wanted to be my own boss, but not only, and I wanted to take everything that I've learned and put them together. And I have a passion for beauty, I have a passion for taking care of people, and I came up with BB Aesthetic, which is from my initials, and I put it all together.
I was going to ask where that name is.
It's Brittney Burnworth. And I actually, I've always loved aesthetics, and I came up with a business plan and I executed it. But what you were talking about, when I did first tell my husband, he looked at me like I was insane, and so did a lot of other people. But I never let the negativity stop me.
Well, let me back you up because you said you had a business plan. At what age do you decide, because you had to go back to get additional schooling, right?
I did, which
So-
I've done twice now.
Right, so it's not like you've kind of rested. A lot of times when we've talked to people that are entrepreneurs, they were in the industry. A guy that owns a window company at one point was digging ditches and laying down mulch. Mm-hmm. Where were you at when you said, I know where I want to go? Because a lot of people think you can't be over the age of 25, 30 years old and they won't start because they're waiting on, like you said, the negativity will
The
hold them back.
negativity can consume you, so you just have to keep staying positive. And I believe at any age, you can keep going on and getting, the more education, the better. I'm going to continue on and get my Doctor of Nurse Practitioner, probably start in a few months now. So at any age, you can just keep going. So I've just always set goals, probably since I was even in 6th grade when I had the biggest paper route in New Jersey. So, I mean, I'm proud of that.
That explains
That
it. So you came to Columbus from New Jersey, so you were
did.
kind of ahead of the game. You're already a hustler.
I'm definitely a hustler,
Okay.
100%.
So when you decided to take this leap, your first person you tell it to is your husband?
Actually, it was one of a couple of my girlfriends. They thought it was excellent,
It's odd that women would think an aesthetic business. I mean, I'm seeing Chris over there saying, "Well, it might be a good idea." Somebody
great
that's
idea.
going every single week.
I would go all the time if the FDA would allow me to go. Botox every 3 months.
I should say you look like you're 21 years old, and so it must be working.
It's maintenance. So
tell her what the T-minus is.
I'm 90 days
She's
from
proud
my
of it.
40th birthday,
She's very proud.
and
I wasn't going to even say that. But I think
She's
it's good
proud
that she
though.
said that.
She's
I
loud and
am,
proud.
and so the thing for me is when I met Brittney several years ago is that I'd been doing Botox for a while, but I was like, it was inconsistent, and I realized that it's almost like a preventative maintenance. If I do a little bit, and I keep doing it on a regular basis, you don't have to like hurry up and do a ton of stuff when you turn 50 or whatever age you are, when you feel like, oh no, this isn't, I really aged all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's like a slow
And the thing about
drip
us,
of aging.
and the thing
That's-
about aesthetics is it's not something where it's taboo anymore.
No.
16, 17 years ago, it was taboo. When I first told my husband my business plan, and a couple other people that thought I was insane, it was just something that you don't talk about that. Well, now one of my biggest growing sector is men, and just different people from all walks of life. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO of a bank, if you're a teacher, a stay-at-home mom, a bartender. I mean, we have everyone that comes through our doors, and we treat everyone the same. And it is not about making you, a 20-year-old or a 40-year-old look like a Kardashian. It's about there being a common denominator that people just want to feel good about themselves. So there's that aspect of aesthetics as well.
And it's okay if they do it with aesthetics.
It
like,
is. I mean,
it's okay if
everything's
you
okay
get
where we
Botox
are.
or you want filler. It's like and if you don't want it, awesome. Like that's great. But
we don't push it on people. People
Not
find
quite about
us, but yeah. So that's what I was just gonna say. It's about making people feel better about themselves. We get people that come in that they come on a regular basis. They get facials, or they get Botox, or they get whatever we have to offer. But some people come in after a divorce, or some people want to find out what's going on.
post-cancer treatment, you've treated people post-cancer treatment.
We have, like what I was saying, we just have people from all different walks of life that just want to feel good about themselves.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because when the after 9/11 and then we had the real estate crash, the one main area of business that shot up was plastic surgery and aesthetics, because what you said, people wanted to feel better about themselves. So if I'm going to be behind my bills, I can't buy a new house, can't buy a new car. They were investing in themselves, because how you feel about yourself really is how you carry yourself about the day, right?
Exactly.
Did you see a lot of this? So when you first came up with this, did you see a lot of people in the beginning kind of saying, well, there's no market for it? Because really, in the Columbus market anyway, there were only a few people doing it. It wasn't really the aesthetic part. It was the plastic surgery option. It was breast enhancements. It was, augmentations. But it wasn't really the filler, the Botox, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. In the beginning, there weren't even nurses doing it. You would only find that in Arizona and California. It's a lot more accepted now, and you're right. People do. They want to feel better about themselves. And, my oldest client is actually 95 years old.
And he comes every day?
He's not Chris Whirl. But I actually do have a lovely lady who's 95. I treat, different decades of life, and when people feel good about themselves, their whole life it's life changing. So, and that's part of my business. My business plan is that I truly like to connect with people, and I make lifelong friendships with people, and they trust me. They tell me things that they might not tell their spouse. There's people that come to see me, and I can't tell that they've come to see me. So, some things are on the down low.
Right.
And then we've got other people that are,
Yeah, and I'm fine. Like I'm out in the public. I do a lot of, with what I do for my living, it's important that I continue to maintain myself. You know, I'm not going to stop aging. None of us are going to stop aging, but
Speak for yourself.
it's important for me. I trust Brittney, and I do a lot of public forward-facing things, public speaking, conferences, print work, and I would never go to anybody else. Not anybody, ever.
And that's not paid for. I didn't.
No,
pay her.
she doesn't pay me.
But I
She
feel
doesn't
like
pay
you
me.
gave her a ride, so she has to say something nice. To
No,
get out
I've
of
met
here.
them.
No, actually, she drove her
Yeah,
car.
so I'm just saying it
Bobby
because I
drove me.
believe it.
Oh, you had a driver.
I did.
You are doing well.
And he's our doctor.
Yeah.
We do have a doctor in the room that won't get on the microphone, but that's okay. He's under the weather.
He is here.
But he is here in case something goes wrong. I want to ask this question.
I
you,
did.
Chris.
I did want to get him on the radio, but
Well,
he's
technically
over there
close to the
smiling.
microphone. He's only 9 feet away.
Hi, Bobby.
Chris, when you first started going, you said that you were going before you met Brittney. Did you ever feel, knowing you for the 20 minutes, I know that I already know this answer.
We're like best friends.
Not that you would be bashful about it, but you are kind of the testimonial for what she's doing in general, but you believed in this beforehand. When you started going, were you kind of shunned for, why are you going to get these things done?
My gosh. Yeah, I mean, for a while, I was even hesitant to talk about it. I was telling people about, Botox, you can do Botox or you can do that. Because for a while, like we talked about, it was not really acceptable. People didn't talk about what they got. We knew they did it, but nobody said a word about it. So it was like this bizarre elephant in the room, and
You're
had to
putting toxins.
yeah,
in
you had to
your
go
face.
to as they drink a glass of wine. I'm like, okay, wink, wink. Like it's the same, it's like this is helping me feel better about myself, so it doesn't impact anybody else. Don't worry about it. But now I'm really open about it. I don't like Facebook that much because get politically aggressive sometimes. So I go a lot on Instagram.
You being aggressive, I don't
I
understand
know.
where that comes
I
from.
go a lot on Instagram, and I always,
She's an Instagrammer.
I'm a huge proponent
got a great following,
If
too.
I
Don't
don't
try to
do.
sell me on it. I'm not going to accept her friend request.
You,
Go ahead.
well, we are going to be friends forever. But I don't do I don't get things and accept things and then post about them just because. I actually go experience business, pay for businesses, pay for services, and if I like it, like a normal human being, I talk about it and I promote it. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love it. It's brought value to my life. If you want to do it, here it is. This is I fully back this. And this is one of those.
But do you think there are a lot of these social media influencers that they are paid to promote a product, right? So their
100%.
Instagram I can't tell you how many people I've seen that are in a dental chair that afterwards, oh, this was the greatest cleaning I've ever had, and there's no one can do it better except for the other 98 dentists around here, but they're not paying me to do it.
Right. No, I'm not paid. I'm a vice president in a very well off and successful organization that is not in the beauty realm at all.
Most of those are probably lies. Go on.
It is in education and public, service, but I am absolutely not paid.
But
and
you've seen that before,
I
where people are
have.
being paid to promote it, and it's kind of...
Well, you can't really. It's not that you can't trust it, but you really don't know. Like if somebody says, "I'm going to give you $500 and this, what kit,"
Right.
you're not going to. People aren't going to go say negative things about it. That would be like biting a hand that fed you.
Right.
That's your business.
Yeah, you're not really getting a testimonial. You're getting somebody that's like, well, I was compensated for this.
It's
so
the
I'm gonna
marketing.
say-
And,
right.
Yeah, and usually people are pretty forthcoming about that. They put like a hashtag ad or a hashtag sponsored.
Brought to you by.
Yeah, I mean, I do say like BB face. This is BB face, but that's just because like it
'Cause
is.
it is.
Like I'm not gonna
Like,
lie
'cause it
about it.
is.
Well, that should
Just
be...
like these, these are lacquer gallery
Oh, yeah,
eyebrows.
we want to give a shout out
This
to
was,
our
these
girl
are lacquer
gang,
brows.
Lisa Suarez,
Yeah.
Lacquer Gallery, who does our brows.
So I mean, I'm like, and
She's
I'm
our girl.
a hype girl for them too.
we
I go
share
there.
a lot of the same, girls.
Our little girl circle.
We got a little, yeah.
Well, so you
And
guys-
Bobby.
And Bobby.
So you kind of circulate between certain people?
We're
Oh.
really, really big proponents of other women's businesses and who
Like
else?
supporting women
Supporting
and lifting
women.
them up, and
We're
you can build a circle of trust.
exactly.
Like Simba.
Yes.
Got it.
Now I need you to lift me up, and we should play the
We're
music.
going to be using
I
the
will.
same trainer
We
soon.
gotta
Body
do
by,
this we
body
gotta
by
do this shit.
Sarah. She's our next girl
So it's
that we
all,
want to talk
this is
about.
all a girl gang. Everybody
No.
has to be a girl.
It doesn't.
No.
No,
For this
not
show.
really.
Bobby.
Not really. We've got
Bobby's in
Bobby
the
over
girl
there. We
gang.
just want to bring him over once. Bobby's
He's
in the girl
filling a
gang.
quota, I feel like.
We actually have our medical directors are all men, and we actually, like I was saying before, our biggest growth sector is in men. You know, there's
Why are you seeing that though? Okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing not so
becoming-
much plastic surgery as you would see in the past, but the Botox and those fillers and that. I'm seeing a
taboo.
lot more of that. It's not taboo, but it's also not as invasive.
Right.
Kybella.
Like,
and
it's a
lot of
night
men-
and
You don't have to do
difference.
anything.
Yeah.
You can go in and get like your top lip filled, and then all of a sudden it's done. There's no downtime, and you go right back to work.
Exactly. I mean, men. I'm seeing men today. You know that as we age, everything falls. You know,
I
men.
mean, you made a
they're
chin
men-
the other day. She made a chin.
I did.
Dude, I can make a chin.
It was amazing.
I think that we somehow think that aesthetics is just about women, but men want to feel good about themselves as well. I mean, that's what I truly believe. And again, it's not anything girly. Some people, they come in at first, they're a little nervous. My wife sent me in, and or you know, they're scared, and we put them at ease. And I think once they meet me and they realize that we're really there for them. You know, we ask questions. You know, we're not just there, you know, everyone's not a cookie cutter. It's not like you're coming in and I'm going to do this. We sit down, we talk about your goals, what bothers you, what would you like to fix today?
What's your budget?
You know, yeah, I mean, we're not
That's
going
my
to
favorite
You never
question.
get asked there though.
you're not
Like,
going to
you-
walk out and I'm not going to stick $5,000 worth of
Right.
stuff in your face and say, oh, by the way, here's a $5,000 bill. We talk about everything.
I mean,
But it is like a procedure then. So it's I'm laying it out the same way I would do a plastic surgery consultation or something. Here's what you're asking for. Here, do you make the recommendations, or they know what they want?
We actually, we talk to them, and then we would go to Bobby or my husband or the physician who writes the medical evaluation, and then we get on a game plan, and as long as they get the medical evaluation, then we can move forward.
So when you're doing this, here's the thing I never understood, and I love to spell this word, which I asked you to help me do because I've had to do it 9 times today.
aesthetic. It's
Well,
hard.
that is such a big medical term, and it doesn't define everything that's underneath it, right? So it's kind of like that word.
All-encompassing.
Yeah, like that word could be procedure.
Mhm.
It doesn't tell me what it is, you know, how it breaks down and who it's for. And that's the one thing I always thought was odd is that everybody, once aesthetic became like a key phrase, everybody uses it.
Mhm.
So how do you, as an individual, break your business apart from your competition? Because there's a lot of people out there.
There
I mean,
is.
there are dentists that their hygienists have these Botox parties and do those lip injections and all that. Can they do it? Sure. Should they be doing it? I don't know. They should be going to a place that's what you specialize in, right?
I think that's where it differentiates us is that I've been doing this for a while, but it's continued education, you know, constantly being educated and bettering, you know, learning new skills, staying up with the trends. We just had a plastic surgeon in the office 2 weeks ago. We go to different events that are sponsored by our pharmaceutical companies. You know, I belong to a lot of different organizations, reading studies, having 4 medical directors. I don't know what else. I'm just trying to think of. I mean, education's key. So, you
Right.
know, what I learned 10 years ago might not be what is going on today. So,
That's exactly right. And you
exactly.
don't, and you can't, you wouldn't go
being
to,
properly trained and having over 5,000 clients, that says a lot.
and clients that aren't being paid to talk about what they get there.
Well, it's also clients that have to come back time. Like you can't burn a client. Like it's not like a dentist that I have to see you twice a year because my insurance covers it. They have to come back for repetitive
And they have to
visits.
want to come back. So it's
Right.
like
The other,
it's a choice.
well, the other thing too is where I try to set myself differently is, you know, if you go to a party, you might not see that person again. In my office, you know, if something happens or you have a concern, you can come back. You know where to find us. We have an office and we follow up 2 weeks later and we make sure everything's okay. So I'm constantly checking email. We have a voicemail service. You know, if anyone has a concern, come in and see us and we'll take care of it.
What would set you apart then versus if you listen to the radio, you watch it, everything is about how do you differentiate yourself from all those other products? Because again, you might be the best at what you do, but someone has to know you're there.
I think it's because, you know, it's a good question. I think it's because I have a story to tell because, you know, I didn't start out in this business. I started out in biotech and pharmaceuticals, but I also started out, and this is where we've talked a lot. I had bad skin growing up. I had horrible skin. And, you know, it wasn't commonplace that your family took you to a dermatologist So
They just disowned you?
they pretty much they threw me out on the street with zits and all. Exactly. I didn't.
Need that
I-
Tazarac.
exactly.
Need that prescription retinol.
So exactly. So as soon as I got out, got my first job, all my first bonuses actually went to going to a dermatologist and get my skin fixed. And I was just focused on getting my skin fixed because it just made me feel terrible about myself. And then when I felt terrible because I didn't want to go out during the day because I didn't want anyone to see my acne. And then because I had such a bad acne, I would pile on more makeup to cover the acne, and it just became this vicious cycle. And then I looked like I had 10 pounds of makeup on. So
that's what's kind of the passion is
It
you
is.
felt this, like you had this turmoil and you wish somebody could help you with it. That's why
did.
you're doing it to other people.
And with that, and then the compassion part. I mean, people tell me their life stories.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we
It's
know
like
one
therapy.
of those.
She's sitting right next to me. We bond over these stories in the office.
Oh man.
And then the next thing I know, I'm like, we're just, it's a therapy session.
It
We
is.
talk about, I mean, people leave crying. They tell me, what's made them so upset. And so here I was with acne. I've got acne, and the next thing I know, I'm 27 and I'm getting wrinkles. And
I like when people cry when they see like a result
the
that is like,
result, yeah.
because with filler,
It's
you know,
immediate.
so I'm Hispanic and I've always had like dark circles, and I only have a little bit of powder under my eyes today. I didn't put any other makeup on except for some of my lashes, so I feel full disclosure.
I'm glad she covered that because I was going to call her out.
I was like, I could tell
I
in your
could tell
eye.
there's some
I saw a
powder.
gleam.
I can see
I was
it.
like, no. But yeah,
I
I
do
mean,
wear lipstick though.
it's just when I did the under eye filler, it was like
She loved it.
and it was just
Some
a little
people
bit,
cry.
and
They
I
cry right
literally
away.
thought I was like my whole life, like kids were like, "Hey, raccoon face," and I was like, first of all, A, that's rude. B,
It
just-
fits though.
guess what? I just fixed it. Boom, she fixed it for me. And I mean, it's a little thing to some people are like, oh, why do you care about that? But for me, it was huge because it was a childhood thing that I was constantly made fun of for. So for me, it was a big deal to be able to like just wake up and not have
Raccoons.
black circles. And
Don't call her raccoon. She's
I'm triggered.
Yeah.
She's
No, so it's
emotionally-
just
yeah, she's hurt.
it
I
was-
was the acne part. She was the
yeah,
dark
it
eyes
was
and
just
circles.
it's just great. It's just and it's like okay if someone wants to do it, like chill.
Yeah.
It's
We're-
okay.
Okay,
We're big
I won't
proponents.
get on anybody if they want to fill that in.
We're big proponents of making sure that you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
However, if you want to lose weight, if you want to do facial aesthetics,
Microneedling, any of that.
microneedling, exactly. Anything that makes you feel good. Who are we to judge? No one's here to judge you. That's well. Yeah, you could judge me, but
Yeah.
we don't care because we're about positive vibes.
Right. Like-
yeah.
I can see that. It's very positive in here.
We are
It's like a lot of love.
It is love.
But so
You're gonna want us back.
You're
every
gonna
day
you're
now,
gonna show
aren't
up at
you?
the office, aren't you?
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna take this from an hour show to 2 hours because I can't get enough of this positivity. Before we go to break, I want to figure out when you're doing this, the people that are coming to you, how are you finding them? Are they finding you? Or
Actually, they're finding me. It was only in about 2 years ago. I've never actually done. This is my first time radio. They found me. I started out with one person. It turned into 2 people. It turned into 4 people. I mean, exponentially.
Word of mouth.
It's word. I am all word of mouth, but now I'm actually starting to go out and talk on the radio. I do Instagram, but I've never advertised besides Instagram and Facebook.
But you built that following
From
again
trust.
from the right person.
Clients.
From trust, yes. But people told other people that told other people that told other people. Yeah.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work in the beginning.
It is, but you know what? Business isn't always like that these days. So I did it the old school way. Hard work,
Well,
hard
but
work.
you
and
started
hard work.
before. Right now, the trend is you better pay somebody
Yeah, it
like
is.
Chris to get on Instagram and
Right.
do all this to really drive that traffic. But again, in a competitive industry, your work at the end of the day, if you can show that my thing would be for you is Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that. I use it for the social aspect, but we're doing a show on Facebook Live. We do every show that we do with every client on Facebook Live because nobody can tell the story better than you can. So, for instance, you're doing this for an hour on Facebook. This is going to circulate for a few days,
Ooh,
and it didn't cost you anything.
that's awesome.
Now, we can edit Chris's part out. This is a nice show.
That's why I'm over here. Like
Yeah.
actually, that's like a fake one.
We
It's
put
like-
baby in the corner. I was trying to get you as far
I
away.
have that shirt.
Now we
you
have to
know.
do the leap.
I
So we have
bought-
Simba, and now
sometimes-
we have the baby jump.
There were a
Sometimes
lot of
I
activities
inject
going
with that
on.
shirt on and it says nobody puts baby in the corner. I have that.
You should have wore it today. You should
You
have
know
known.
what? We should have. Oh, we've got a good idea from you now.
But that's one of the things that I would encourage you to do, only because the people that we've had on, you're farther advanced than most of the entrepreneurs we have on. But part of their thing is they're younger, so they're using their social media. It's building a lot of followers, but they're not really putting out great product. You have great product if you don't get it out there to really display this. I mean, that's going to do a lot of your work for you.
I actually learned Instagram from my kids. So when I was out there working every day, bettering myself, bettering my skills, learning about, being an entrepreneur is not about being in good injection skills. It's about having communication skills and, talking to, are we still on the air? Oh, okay. It's about everything. So when I'm working, I didn't know that this whole Instagram thing was going to blow up. I mean, it's huge. Everyone is on Instagram. So I've been on for about, 2 years?
Yeah, we've been working through we worked through it.
I
we
just
learn
only
new
learned
things every day.
Learned about a couple months ago how to do a Facebook story, an Instagram story.
We sat in the office and we were like, this is it.
I'm like so excited.
I really don't know what you do without her, as your guardian angel over here. She's figuring out everything for you.
Yes.
And you're giving away phones.
No, I'm not giving
No,
that.
that's a family. Just
Not
Look
as
at
a-
Bobby
not as a
over there
promotion.
laughing.
There's somebody in the back who has 9 phones. That you give him.
Because every time he buys one, I give it away to him or my kids, and I'm still with my cracked iPhone.
I do like that iPhone. That's very nice. It has a big slit down the middle.
It's a nice one.
Would you like this one when I
No,
actually
just put some
trade
eye
out?
filler in that thing.
See,
Jupiter.
we could fill it with some Juvederm.
Well, I mean, we
What
could
do you
do that
think?
on the next show.
Oh, that's
Let's
funny.
do this. Let's go to break. You're listening to 101 brought to you by Whiteside Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Gets me every time. And we'll be right back. So what I would like to do is come back and I want to get to when you
And our
first
Facebook
started.
Live is on?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Now you can swear, okay? Because I know you want to.
Oh, it's still
J-Lo.
That's my
J-Lo.
idol.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Since I was a
I love
child,
her.
I wanted to be a fly girl and was rejected
Oh.
by my parents.
I
Wait,
was
so
gonna
this is
say-
still taping us though, right?
Yeah, but it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I wear these to work at the state
I
house
thought you were
meetings.
trying to get Dumbo to fly through those.
Jump! They light on fire.
That's pretty
Push
awesome.
a button.
You're a party in the package right there.
Pretty in the package. I love it.
When I'm doing this, that's just for Michael's benefit.
Okay.
Don't pay
Yeah,
any
you guys
So
attention
we
to
don't
that.
get so far.
Yeah. Oh,
Doing-
yeah.
Then when
doing
you
just
did this,
fine.
when you
I
did this
just
the
wanted
first
to get
time, I
into
almost
that.
reached through because I thought you were like
Okay.
trying to get a high
Procedure.
five.
I
No,
want you to tell
no.
the story of the business.
It's all with
because there
timing.
had
It's
to
just
be-
for him.
You were sitting there and no one came in for a couple days. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I want to get into that and how it built.
Okay.
So, just kind of
And like we see a lot there's other injectors have reached out to me because they're like, oh, come in, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I know people hire companies that just manage
Right.
their media.
And I don't have that.
She doesn't do
Mine
that.
was just
But
word
see,
of
you
mouth.
shouldn't do that.
She doesn't have to.
I know, but I'm saying when you give it to other people, they're
You
just
lose
doing
it.
what you're paid for.
Yeah.
So I'll do one post today on this, one here.
Mm-hmm.
Once they've done it, they don't give a shit what you're doing.
Mhm.
If you're doing it, it's organic.
Because I'm invested in
And no
my
ownership.
people.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, you lose there's a disconnect when you bring that other person.
I think you should say that.
All right, yeah.
You should talk about that piece.
Great.
Because someone's probably going to hire you to do their social media posts, and you're like, I don't fucking do that.
If you want, if
I
you
don't.
want a
I
second
say I don't
break,
all the
just
time.
do
She's
it.
like, no, she's a lawyer.
If you
it's
want
hard
one.
to find people like her.
No, I meant
Us.
some company.
Oh.
We get people like, you want to do our social media? No, I do not.
Always. I always say nothing.
Because you're not going to do it the way we want to do it,
Mhm.
and it's not organic. If you're doing whatever it is, and you're posting it, you're proud of it, you're telling the story. Don't just, here's a picture, come up with a
Exactly.
caption.
Like this.
Now, I have-
Like, gosh, I'm so
I have
thirsty. What would I
multiple
do
people
without my
that have.
Nestea?
Yes. I have had I've had companies reach out to me and say, "Who's managing your social media?" Not me, because I'm invested in it, and I know what's going on. I know what my people. Because then I step away. What you said, the word's disconnect.
It's a disconnect.
Now, could I pay whatever
Yes.
X amount of money a month to have someone else manage it? But then that's not me. I'm losing.
It's not
I'm,
authentic.
no,
It's not.
it's not.
And
I'm
that's-
100%
I'm
authentic.
huge on that. If you're not yourself, like, just keep walking. I'm not
I've been
actually.
faking this shit the whole time. You're telling me.
That's all right, because we're gonna.
I mean,
we'll
we
see
can
who's
fake
faking what when
we
do
can
that
fake
jump.
some things, yeah.
You can't fake. You can't really fake who you are when it.
I mean, we can
in
fake not being able
time.
to move
You
our
can for a
faces,
little bit.
You haven't been in this business long enough to know they're all fake. Jimmy, are you ready? I'm ready to go. if
You ready to
are.
roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to mess up Chrysler again.
Uh-oh, don't mess it up.
Welcome back to the 101 brought to you I was so worried I was going to mess up Chrysler again. By Whiteside Chrysler Dodge
You got
Jeep.
it.
I just blew it. We're still here with Brittney and Chris J-Lo, with BB Aesthetic. I wanted to get into, we went through procedures and all that. One thing I'd like to know is we always try to ask somebody, when you first started, there had to be a ramp-up time. There had to be some struggles because you didn't just open the doors and I'm really great at this and it happens. A lot of people give up too soon. Okay, so they'll start a business, and I've told this story many times on the show. When I did this, I didn't really make money for 36 months. I made enough to get by, but the first 6 months, it probably cost me more money to be in business. When you start that up, what's the process? You just open the door and you just sit there and hope somebody walks by the BW3 and walks in?
Actually,
Absolutely.
Actually, that you have a really good point there. In the beginning, I went to training and I thought about this. I'm thinking, how am I going to build this business? And fortunate for me, I've been in, like I said before, pharmaceuticals. I've had a second job bartending. I'm a mom of 2 kids on travel sports. I'm involved in charity work, so I know a lot of people. And I reached out to a lot of girlfriends, and good thing that they trusted me because they trusted me with their face, and that's important.
Well, that's really key because a lot of people are good at insurance, let's say, and then they mess up your car insurance. If you mess up their face, that's a problem.
I mean, and
That's a huge
I've
problem.
seen people
with the mess up faces.
with some not desirable results. I was
you
trying
have
to think
pictures
of
on
it.
your phone? Can I see
I was trying to think of how I was going to say that appropriately. So I mean, and you've had people come to you after seeing providers in state or out of state or somewhere else, and they're like, I need this fixed.
Aesthetics is an art where sometimes less is more, and that's coming from me. So sometimes people can get too much into it where it actually ages them. So I know we're getting
It's a cat face.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm
You
saying
look like
is
one of those magicians in Las Vegas? Yeah, that's a really
you
good
bring
look.
it to a point where they look good, and then there's some people where you just have to say stop, and then that's enough. But I think
How do you do that though? If they're
She
willing-
literally
I
just says,
literally
"Stop."
just say, you're fine, you're good. Like, you might have a problem going on right now. We're honest with them.
Slippery slope. If sometimes you get, I mean, I've caught myself. Like I look at, it, I'm like, maybe I need a little more.
I'm like,
She's
"You're
like,
fine."
and I text her, and she was like, "It's a no."
You're
And
not.
I'm like,
It's a no.
Darn. Yeah. All right.
And
So,
I'm like,
so
"You're not."
you have to turn down money in that case to do the right thing.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yes.
Always.
So you really have to look at this more of like you described it as an art. I think whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, that is your art. That's your painting
our
of a
passion,
picture.
our what I like to do.
But whatever you're putting out there, especially when it's somebody's face or their body, if it gets messed up because that other person decided not, let's just keep going, that's a reflection of you too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
No matter what.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, you have to trust me, and trustworthiness is huge. My skill sets, my trust, to trust, and that
Your staff. I mean,
my staff, and now I have staff, so I have to be there to make sure that they're not doing anything wrong. Because, let's say they mess up, now that's turn around back a reflection on my business. Because again, BB is my name, so that could be a problem. But what you were saying in the beginning, how did I get this started? It wasn't as big as it was now. 9 years ago, it started, like I said, with 2 people, 4 people, another person told another person who told another person. So I didn't do the route that everyone's going down now, where they hire social media companies to do things. My business was truly started with
Organically.
with word of mouth.
Were there days when it was slow? You don't seem to be somebody that would kind of get down on yourself, but there had to be some days where, not that you're questioning should I keep doing it, but it's like this is frustrating.
And I can definitely tell you that because it's usually typically the 2 weeks after the first 2 weeks of January, where people have spent money on their family and Christmas and the
Selfish.
holidays. We spend money on
The
our
season of
family.
giving.
Yeah,
Yes.
great. Those kids have something. You have
They
nothing in
took
your
all my
lips.
my lips have deflated. I can't feed my children. And so I agree. So now this year's, I think it was the first year. Bobby, didn't I tell you this? Where I'm not upset like I was 2, 3, 4 years ago, where I'm like, no one's coming in. Oh my gosh, it's but now it's a trend. I always see that the first 2 weeks of January, and then July seems to be a little slow, but it's okay because November and December were insane. Like we
Right.
rocked it out. Everyone was getting ready for the holidays. So I've been doing this for a while, and I know not to panic.
Well, because
you're going to have fluctuations and
right.
things
Well,
like
it is
that.
a business.
It is a
so it's
business.
not. It's
Everyone has their slow
it's not
seasons.
oil changes. Like you don't need that every single day. So there is going to be a pattern. But when you're going to year 1 to 2, obviously you're excited to see the growth. But in year 1, at what point are you 6 months in when you really start humming along? Because you did network. You did the thing that everybody wants to do where they network. You already had the network.
I was old
built.
school.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We have a lot of people that will come on here, and one of the things that I never go to these big networking things. Like, we get invited to it, and I just say no because I don't want to do the business card shuffle. And I also don't want, if you tell somebody what you do, they'll go, hey, how do my eyes look? They're not there to really help you. And my thing, someone will say, well, how do I do this and this and this? I could draw it on this piece of paper, or I could just do it for you. They never want to hire you. They just want to get the free information,
Exactly.
right? But your network was totally different. It was organic and it was real. So when you opened the doors, you were able to
exactly
roll that out.
Pull from that, exactly, because people wanted to know who I was. They heard my name, and that's just how things grow. So yeah, it's the old school way of doing business.
Lisa brought me to you 3 or 4 years ago.
Lisa from
yeah.
Lacquer Galley, she's our girl.
I was getting,
yeah.
She
said, don't forget to give me a
I know.
shout
We're
out.
giving her a lot of free plugs. To
We
this
love
person.
her.
Do it again. Do it
Okay,
again.
do it
I
again.
wanted,
You
I
do
wanted
it.
her to get a clean plug.
We got to get a clean one for Lisa. She brought us together. That's why
She did. So Lisa, I was actually, I think I was
I
getting
can't
my
wait till
brows
she hears
done
it.
or
She did
my
mine.
nails because I'm literally at Lacquer almost as much as I'm
There's a lot of work going on with
there. It's called high maintenance,
you. Yeah.
and I'm great with it, and
Like
I'm
the guy
embracing.
that you're married to
It's the
must.
It's the
He
same.
must be P Diddy because I don't know how he's affording to keep his.
I'm P Diddy.
Okay.
He's not P Diddy.
Right
I'm
now
P-
you're like
I'm
a
the P Diddy of our family.
1969 Charger. There's a lot of money going into this thing.
There is, but
He
I
loves
budget.
her.
I budget every year, so I tell people this when I talk about it. Every January, I sit and do an Excel spreadsheet on
She did.
self-care.
She sent me her budget.
I
She
sent
has a
budget.
self-care budget, and she's like, "This is what I'm
'Cause guess
allowed
what?
to spend."
I'm the only woman in my house, and
Me too.
yeah,
I
well,
have-
that's another thing we have in common. We have all sons,
All boys, boy dogs,
boy, everything,
boy everything. We are
all
the
boy,
only
everything.
women.
And you have Excel on your computer.
And an Excel self-care budget, and I will be forever grateful to Lisa for bringing me to Brittney. Forever, like
But-
indebted.
Let's talk about this because when we were at break, Chris, you said something that was kind of unique. We were talking about, we just talked about networking and building that thing organically, and you said something about the artificial following, the Instagram accounts, because you get a lot of people that will call you and say, I want to handle this, or who handles this for you?
Every day. Who handles your social media?
Oh, who handles your social media?
My answer is me.
But Chris, go.
I
you
do. I
made a
do it all
point
by
about
myself.
this.
It might not be the most. I mean, it's not that's unprofessional.
It's not unprofessional.
It's not fake, but it's who I am and what I see.
Well,
on
instead
every
of saying
day.
fake, it's not as an
Artificial.
It's not generated purposefully
Well,
like
it's not
that.
authentic. It's not your
inauthentic.
It's your content, but it's not being put together. You're not just farming it out to somebody.
Exactly.
A lot of people fall in love with the Instagram or Facebook post companies, and they are just going to do what you told them to do. I'm going to post once a month. I'm going to find an article from USA Today. All this thing. They're just doing what they're told to do, but they're not in your business.
Right,
Every
that's their
single
job,
day.
so they're just doing what they're going to do. But there is a disconnect when people are like that. There's a disconnect between the service.
But explain
and
that. 'Cause
provider.
You said it perfectly in the break. The disconnect is what?
The disconnect is that they have no ownership in it, and it's not that it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying that as somebody who also has a business that has nothing to do with aesthetics, we handle our own as well. So because we have to have that connection
Well,
to the end final product.
And mine is authentic as far as, sometimes you'll see a post of my new puppy that I threw in there.
Right.
It's not, because it's real life.
You're not just like,
It's
here we are, here
yeah,
are the services. It's not like it's not.
we're kind of a
it's thoughtful.
family. It's a growing family, but
It's
we are
thoughtful and it's
still a
personal.
family.
That's the difference. It's personal.
Yeah.
It's personal. It's not just about
You're not
eyes
coming in
and
and
lips.
you're not coming in and getting a checkout number like you're ordering meat at the deli and you're going to room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6.
Do you
Does that
feel?
make sense?
Yes. Well, I was going to ask because in the past, I've had plastic surgery clients, and it seemed more. It was almost like going to a doctor's office. I didn't have plastic surgery. I just follow people in there like a weirdo. Well, I'd have to go in for meetings. And
Well, you can come into our office
No,
anytime.
I'm not doing that. That's weird. But what I'm saying is, I would be in the lobby waiting for the marketing director, or whatever, and the people in that lobby, there was no interaction. It was like you're just waiting to go back there to get whatever's done.
Quietly.
Yeah, and it's very
Clinical.
Yes.
It is clinical. So
Laboratory,
this is
like a
not. We just
laboratory.
talked about this last night.
We did. Yeah,
First
no.
of all-
First of
We
all,
did.
I like
That was
how
the
I bring
word.
something up and you're like, oh yeah, I already said it.
We did.
did.
We do. I have a
Clinical.
text message I could show you.
Ha!
Ha! We got
Ah,
it. We've got evidence.
2019.
I wish you had Urban Meyer's cell phone. There's no text message on that.
It's been
I
wiped.
know.
Doesn't even exist. She dropped his cell phone. It's
I
broken
did.
now.
She's
I
gonna
got
give him a new one.
A new one.
The new one in
I'm
the
getting
car.
him his new
it's going to
phone.
Urban.
Exactly.
It's his now.
Another phone I'm not
Gotta
going to
find
get
him.
for giving away my phone.
So I made a great point that you essentially said you made last night. Go on with that point.
No, it's true though. Like, and I mean, the other day, Bobby was just talking about it earlier. When I was in the waiting room, there were 5 people churning strangers, but they were like, "Hey,
I
what's
look
up?
out and I'm like, there's Chris again.
we're just
making
talking,"
friends.
and people just talk, and it's like very
It's
active,
awesome.
and
Everyone's smiling.
it almost
and
is
they're
like
happy.
it's like it's everyone's happy. No one's like, "Oh, I'm so upset that I look this nice." Oh man, like,
People do regret when they look really good.
I wish I had those dark circles back. Can you just like dissolve it?
But there is such a difference because again, I feel like it's almost like the old hair salon, like when I was
It's
a kid and
energy.
my mom would. Yeah, there was
This is
energy
energy.
there.
Hey, we just
It's an
talked about
energy.
that on the ride here.
It's like a big
Why are we
energy.
doing this show? You've already done the show.
We did
It's
it.
like
Over
the
here.
big energy.
Bobby was talking about the barbershop. It's like going to the barbershop where you feel comfortable, you know, and you remember the old school ones?
Of course.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love those.
I mean, it's energy.
It's energy.
BB energy.
But that's what I think is a better situation. I'm not saying people shouldn't have plastic surgery. I'm just saying it is very, here's your doctor, here's the procedure, here's what we're doing. And it isn't, there's not really a bond there. I think there is when you see what you look like afterwards. But you're not part of the process.
It's transactional in the front end. It's
right.
transactional.
And I'm not saying that's wrong.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying this seems to be more of a, you're kind of putting the procedure together based on here's what I think your overall look would be, but they're coming back over and over. When you have plastic surgery, chances are you might have it once and not come back for 10 years or whatever. You have to see these people, every 60 to 90 days?
Yeah. Well, every 3 months for Botox,
Well,
every year,
Exactly.
Every 3
or a
hours
year and a
for
half
Chris.
for.
Every 3
Well,
3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And you know, we're building people's confidence. I'm confident. You know, that's what BB is built on, is confidence. About confidence brings strength. It brings beauty. It brings power. You can overcome so much in life when you have confidence. And aesthetics brings confidence.
I didn't ask you this question. You said BB Aesthetics. Did you do that because it would be like in the phone book that way? Why did you pick that? Because you're kind of putting your name on it, right? So if it doesn't go well, and I'm not saying obviously
I'm
it's
a
not.
risk taker, I guess.
Well, that was the thing is when I
Yeah.
did my company, people were like, you should call it this and this and this in case it doesn't work out. And I'm like, I'm going to put my name on it. And I was like, oh, no, that's terrible because this could really fail.
I mean,
It's failing
I
right
thought
now,
about
so
it.
you know. This show is not going well.
I think it's going
I think
pretty
it's
good,
going
though.
great.
I think you guys want us back every week.
Oh.
That's confidence.
That's a lot.
That is some serious Brittney confidence going on.
I just got really tired.
I mean, this is how we always are. I
We
mean,
are.
Bobby
We never
can
shut it
attest.
off, right? Look at
Never.
him, he's laughing over there.
Melatonin at night.
Yeah.
To bring this down.
Can't imagine what's going on over there. So
I'm wondering if, actually this isn't live until Friday, right? 'Cause I was
no,
wondering-
we're live right now.
Oh, they're watching us maybe at LMH Licking Memorial ER right now.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Listen.
That's
my-
a
that's
weird thing to.
Well, my husband's
I thought you just
ER.
meant somebody in the waiting room
Oh
was
no,
on
I
Facebook
was
watching
saying,
us.
well, my husband is over there working because he didn't come over today. So I said, I'm wondering
Well,
if
that's his fault.
they're saving lives or if they have more fun.
Is he like you, or is he more buttoned up? quiet?
He's not like me at all.
You can't have two.
You
You
can't
can't have two
of
kites
us in a
flying this
room.
high. You know, 2 kites in the same, get their strings
I'd
tied
like
up.
to thank that doctor for not showing up.
Someone's got to hold the kite.
Yeah, someone's got to save lives.
Got to hold the kite.
I make people pretty and
So-
feel good.
Oh, what does he do?
He's an ER
Just
physician.
saves them,
He saves lives.
literally.
Boring.
I
You don't
save
look pretty
faces,
that way.
right?
Wah, wah.
I save his
Oh.
face.
Did you just out him and say you did it for him too?
He's on Instagram. He's okay with it.
I want my husband to get his
Yeah.
crow's feet done. Josh, this is a shout out to you. Get your crow's feet done.
Yeah. My husband
You look
lets
great.
post pictures, so we're okay with that.
Yeah.
He's okay with that.
Poor
He's getting it for his
Josh.
birthday. July.
Josh is coming in.
If I
kicking
want an
and screaming.
Xbox, when instead he's getting injections.
The
That's right.
Xbox. He's probably already has one.
He does, just a little.
Um,
Just a skosh.
I did say before we started, I felt like this was going to go off the rails really quickly, and it did. I want to double back. So where the business is now, you feel really comfortable where it is. Where do you want it to go? Do you always want it to be one location? Do you want it to be multiple locations?
We Yes, multiple occasions. Well, we don't want to grow too fast because, again, what we were talking about how we grew organically, we don't want to lose that connection with our people. We did just hire another nurse practitioner, and we did just bring on, another physician, 2 estheticians. We want to keep doing the best service that we can for the patients that we have. In our future, we are looking maybe to, a couple locations. Again, it's different things that we're looking at, and bringing in maybe more of a wellness, where we incorporate, other aspects of health. So,
like weight loss or things like
or
that?
it's different things that we're, avenues that we are currently looking at right now. So,
That's kind of a cool idea because I don't know anybody else that's doing that, but we just gave it away on the air. So like 9 people are running to the
They're
LLC
running.
office.
That's all right.
But the biggest thing right now is to make sure that you can't lose sight of the people that have, got you where you are today. And that's one of the problems with business is when you grow too big, you get too big,
fast.
you grow too big too fast. People don't trust you anymore, and so I'm not going to grow so big that I lose the people that trusted me to begin with.
Chris, do you agree with that philosophy?
I do. I do. And, with regards to competition or people doing things, I feel like competition just makes you better at what you do.
Well, I agree on that because I think when you don't have people you're competing with, you get
Complacent.
lackadaisical.
I have a lot
Lackadaisical is
of
a better word,
competition.
but yeah, complacent. We'll say that. But when you are, do you look at anybody really as competition? Because again, I always look at it. Your business is that's your painting that you're painting. So it doesn't matter what anybody else is
Right.
doing. But in a marketplace, there are more and more people doing it. Again, when I heard that people were doing this in dentist offices, I thought, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but chiropractors are starting to do it. That field is getting more and more spread out.
Oh, it's saturated.
I
with
think the only
people.
competition, I don't want this to sound cheesy or any way, is the only competition is myself. I just need to keep making myself
That
better.
was cheesy.
It is
I like that.
totally cheesy.
I do too, but I just had to bury her.
I
on
know,
that.
you had to bury me, but it is cheesy, but you know what, I just need to focus on what I can do better for myself and make myself better, because I'll make myself crazy if I worry about
Yeah.
everyone else's
And you'll tank your business if you
Yeah.
get if you
I need to
become
focus on
hyper-focused on competition. You just mess yourself up. So that's like a waste of energy and space.
Well, that is technically. I mean,
Time for
I've
that.
read a lot of these books on starting business, entrepreneurship, and that's always the thing: is don't worry about anybody else. Just follow your own path. But there are people that are going to be out there that are not just what you guys talked about that too.
Stay in your
Yes,
lane.
because look, he's over
Stay in
there.
your lane.
He's
Just
over there
stay in your
giving the
lane.
high five. I get a daily talk from.
Enjoy your free
over there.
9 phones. He should have done this show today. Is on time.
I know. Well, we had to say why. He didn't feel
He didn't
well.
feel
And he
well.
still drove us here. It's a good boy.
Not buying it.
But he always, we talk about this daily. Like, you know what? Someone, we hear people say negative things. I mean, we just have to just not listen to the negativity. We are about positivity.
What do you mean? They say negative things about how your business is?
Oh, there's
Because a lot of
negative.
your competition,
People
like,
can just be negative
Negative
in general,
about-
and
just
like
negative
I
Nellies.
you just gotta like fly above. Like okay.
but you don't
Don't
mean
be Debbie
customers.
Downers.
You mean people that also do what you do.
We hear it. We hear things.
I mean, in any industry, you hear people are people, and some people
just-
are
we
not
don't
secure
engage.
with themselves.
We don't engage in it. We just.
I always like to hear it personally.
We
Because
do.
if you're worried about me,
Then
I
I'm
didn't
doing
even-
something right,
Well, I didn't even know you were out there.
Exactly.
and
I
I'm
like-
doing something right if you're worried about me.
I'm not that worried about you. I mean, I am when this is over. I'll be worried about you just in general. But when you look at your business model, so your thing is I have this core group and I want to stick with them, and then kind of add to it
Slowly. Like I said, you get too big too fast. That's when you start losing touch with your clients. So, I don't want to say, a year from now I'm going to have a location in 50 states. That's not a.
Or like a whole new staff turnover. That's
The people that have been with me have been with me from the beginning.
that's another thing you see it.
That was another thing I meant to ask. Your staff, they have to buy in, right? Because this isn't just a business. This is kind of your vision for how this is going to go. You have to get buy-in from them, right? They have to have the same mindset as you.
Same goal. Oh, exactly. Same mindset.
Same values.
Same values. Exactly. And like I was saying before, everyone that's been with me has been with me from the beginning.
And that's why you have that kind of like family. It's not just your patients you have that camaraderie with. It's the people that work there.
Exactly. So they've got to be.
And they're all hilarious.
They
and
are
sweet
fun.
and fun. They're very nice.
I always think it's funny when people say someone else is funny. I bet they're not that funny, Chris.
I
She is
find
funny.
joy in a lot of stuff, so I don't know.
You sure you're not
and
gonna
I'm
hire
enjoying
her?
this. Oh my, could I hire her? I couldn't put up with this. Is too much. This is way too much energy.
It's a lot.
I've got one over here.
But I'm
this
turning
is
40
Debbie Downer. I mean,
soon,
she always
so-
likes to keep me on the low, like, it's not going that well. And I'm like, great. Let's
It's
keep
not
going.
going that well.
We're not talking about flooring, although flooring's important, but we're
I
talking
know-
about
I know how to lay
fun
flooring.
stuff.
I didn't know if that was code for something. I didn't
Oh,
know.
no,
if
I
it
was
meant
like-
something.
Well, you were talking about window panels or something.
Oh, I was saying we did a show about windows a few days ago, and then there was a part of me where I was looking out the window, and I was like, I wonder if I could kill myself and no one see it. But it came out really well.
Promise me you won't say that about us.
No, this
No.
is. I think this is fun.
I think it's fun.
I want you to, because you both are very spirited. If somebody's out there listening, your business model, everything you're doing, it sounds amazing. But if there's a piece of advice that you could give somebody that's waiting to start their business, because that's the main reason we do the show. We like to have people on to tell their story, but it's also if you're sitting out there waiting, and you're waiting on that one person to approve it or make you feel like it's going to work, tell somebody your thought on that. Why would they wait?
That's my point exactly. Why wait? Be a risk taker. I mean, I quit a really good job to do something that I'm passionate about and that I believed in myself. Because when nobody else believed in me, I did. And I just say do it.
Is that what you enjoy the most, was the proving your point?
I mean,
Or-
I wouldn't say proving my point. It's because I love what I do. So that made all the difference because I truly love what I do.
Chris, if somebody's out there waiting to get eye filler or to start their own business, answer either one of those questions, what would you say to them?
Do what makes you happy for both of those things. I mean, do not what you think. Don't be the person you think that everybody wants you to be. Make the decisions that you want for your life because it's just up to you. We're our own barrier most of the time. And we just project that other people are stopping us, but really it's just usually ourselves. So I would just say the
Like self-fulfilling
do it.
prophecy.
just do it.
Get the negative talk out of your head. And, when, a lot of people told me, no, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And
Oh, I would have said that.
And now
a lot of people did. A lot
or
of
have
people
your
did.
positive be louder than the negative, and then
Exactly.
just move forward.
Ugh, don't say that. That's terrible. But I would also say, I'll give you credit that when you had this idea, you knew that you were going to have to invest money into your education, and you continue to reinvest in yourself and in your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So know that's part of it. And again, this is probably the 9th straight show we've done. The one thing you never brought up was money, which when you're an entrepreneur and when you love what you're doing, no one ever brings up the money. Can I see your W-2? I'm just kidding. I'm saying.
We didn't
Government
talk about
shut down
money.
right now.
Yeah.
So
right,
do.
but that's the point. Is if I had brought that up early,
It would,
I like to see we can get through the whole hour, and no one has ever talked about money. And I think that's the most impressive part. Is you got to really love what you do. If you don't, there's no reason to do it.
I 100% agree.
Tell people how they can see your work. The website, if they want to call you.
Your Instagram.
Actually, yeah. Well, Instagram, BB_aesthetic, and you can also call our office. You can also Google BB Aesthetic online. We're on Google, and you can call, or you can make an appointment right online. We have a self-service right online, and it's easy to get to make appointments.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
web,
And you're taking appointments now, so if somebody
are.
wants to come in, they can come in.
I'm booked out today, unfortunately.
Not
but-
today.
I was talking about you.
What?
I'll take his spot. No, I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah.
not due yet. It's not
I
time.
don't want to do that to her. Well, I just want her to show me an area and I want to just inject it to somebody. But
I trust
you will have people, the new people that come in, what can they expect?
They
from you?
can expect absolute 100%. We'll have fun, but great service, a great experience, follow up, and fantastic results.
My God, that's a lot.
The connections.
I thought we were just going to say fun.
No, well,
Chris, I feel like before we leave, I have to open the microphone to you just one last time so you can say something random. And
I'm so
then-
glad. I'm so glad I asked you last night. I just
I was
asked
like,
you last
sure,
night.
I'll
Oh, I'm
go.
so thrilled you did.
I was in Barcelona, drink a whole bottle of wine. I was like, yeah, I'll
I said,
go.
would you like to join me on the radio tomorrow? I mean, this was the best decision I ever made.
Yes, it's one of the top 10 worst I've made. But that's going to do it for this week. Thank you for listening to 101, brought to you by Whiteside Chrysler Dodge Jeep. And
We got
will
it!
see you next week.